What's up everyone, this is Badass View here, and today I'll be taking a look at the Marvel Legends Infinite Series Captain Britain. This is part of the Abomination Build-A-Figure wave. I didn't pick up everybody. If you watched my Wonder Man review, you know that I didn't pick up everybody in the wave just because I didn't really care about the Captain America, the Eel, or the Iron Skull, but I didn't have a Captain Britain figure yet, and it's a good thing I held out because there's no reason to have that old crappy Toy Biz one. This is definitely the better one, it seems like. I don't know how big this guy is in comparison to other characters, so I'm not sure if using the Hyperion mold was appropriate. But, you know, this is definitely a lot better looking than the old Toy Biz one, so obviously this is the way to go if you don't have this guy. But I really like him. I don't know too much about him. I just know he's part of the Excalibur, or is that? No, I don't think he's part of Excalibur. Oh yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. I'm thinking Alpha Flight. Alpha Flight's full of the Canadian characters. He's from Excalibur, I believe, or something to that extent. I don't know too much about him. I haven't actually read up on him too terribly much, but he definitely just wanted to get the character for my collection. And from what I know, he is somewhat interesting. He's kind of like the Nova Corps, where there's multiple. I think there's multiples of one, or it's something that gets passed down, something to that extent. But this isn't a Comics Explained video. I'll leave that to Rob. This is a toy review, which honestly, let's face it, nobody's watching. Anyways, looking at the figure, I really dig this head sculpt. It looks really cool. Kind of like reminds me of just the way the helmet looks from the top. It kind of looks like a hawk of some sort. And I don't know why I get that kind of vibe from it, but I really like the way the helmet looks. It's nice, and it seems nice and thick, and does some real good protection of the guy's face. It's also sculpted, so that's really cool. The eyes are sculpted, so it gives it more depth. So within the eyes, it's painted black, and then he's got the whites. His eyes are white, so that's really cool. It makes it look like he's actually just wearing a helmet rather than it just being sculpted to his face, you know. So it looks good. He's got the Britain symbol over here, and on this side. Looks pretty good paint wise. I think it could be a little bit brighter. I mean, a little more, I guess, thick. The paint wise, it seems a little thin. Kind of like the white. Not that anything's bleeding through, but it does kind of look like the red kind of goes through a little bit, but that's not too big of a problem. But anyways, the head sculpt looks pretty cool. Coming down to his shoulders here, he's got the lion symbol on there, which I think is supposed to symbolize like Britain or something like that. I'm not gonna pretend I'm an expert on any of this stuff, but that's just what I think. That makes sense. And then obviously he's got the Britain symbol across his entire body, which looks nice. I don't know if it's just mine. I'm sure it's just quality issues, but there's quite a bit of problems with the white paint. There's problems with consistency of the whites on his chest, on his arms here. There's inconsistencies with the colors of the red. It's kind of all over the place. They did the blue and metallic, which isn't a problem until you see that there's, you know, paint flakes and stuff like that, so that's kind of a problem. And then it bleeds through the white here, so the white's not completely white. It's just kind of weird looking. So paint wise, it's not the best. Definitely could be a lot better. How to fix that problem, I don't know. I don't know how they could have fixed that. Maybe put some extra coats of white in on the lining, or maybe better quality control. Well, obviously that ties in with the quality control, but I don't know. They could have done that a little bit better. Maybe mold the figure in white and then put the stuff over it. But it looks like half of it they molded in red, and then half of it they molded in blue, so it just kind of looks really wonky. So I don't know. It looks kind of bad, but if you, maybe it's just mine that's really bad, but I'm sure other people don't have the best one either. So there's that. Coming down to his forearms, he's got this white wrapping around his arms. It is sculpted up here at the top of the forearm, and then his hands have like the white sculpted part here, so that's sculpted in. Looks pretty nice. I think here, I don't know how they did this, but down here there's like blue on the bicep and then it turns black, so there's that. I don't know if that's worth mentioning, but I guess it's just a part that I noticed, so I wonder, it doesn't look bad, just part of what I noticed, I guess, which I don't know if is actually important. Anyways, we come down to the belt. The belt's obviously loose fitting, and it doesn't totally sit straight. It, like, his crotch area is so thin that the belt doesn't totally have a place to sit. So you kind of just place it between the crotch piece and the abdomen, so that way you can kind of hide the fact that he's got the waist swivel. But it doesn't truly like sit anywhere. It just kind of like tucks into the spot that it's in, and then it kind of stays there. Doesn't really impede the articulation at all, even if it's down in this spot, so at least there's that. So while it does look kind of weird, it does seem effective in hiding that joint, which is nice. The paint work down on his legs, kind of that same problem, although it's not as bad, but you can see anytime I've lifted the leg up going like this, it's definitely been scratching away at the paint, which is unfortunate. Unfortunate that it's like that, but it seems that they went the route of molding the legs white and then painting over with the metallic blue, which is what's causing this to have problems. But if they had done it where it was completely molded blue and then painted over white, that would have looked like crap either way. So it was kind of set up for fail to begin with. And then I don't know why, but I really like the way the pants to the boots look. It definitely, I don't think I see this too often, but it looks cool that his pants are kind of crinkled up from his boots, because I would assume that his legs kind of get tucked up in there and all that. So it's cool that they did that. And I really like the way the boots look. They kind of remind me of like pirate boots for some reason, but they do look cool. And the buckles are painted in a kind of bronze paint. And that's about it. Not too much else to say about them. The paint's kind of all over the place. It's not too terribly good, but I don't really know what we can do about it unless you're gonna repaint them yourself. But that takes time, and I don't care too terribly much about it, because he's just gonna sit up with my collection probably in the back somewhere, so you won't really ever notice that he's got these problems. But it is still a nice figure. I mean, it's a nice figure, a nice update to the old one, but it could be better quality control wise. But that's about it. Anyways, head or articulation wise, the head is on a ball peg and a hinge, so he can look up a really good amount, which is nice for flying. He can look down, rotates 360 degrees. His arms can go forward and back, in and out, 360 degrees rotation. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, rotation in the wrist, as well as a hinge. He's got an ab crunch, which goes about 2 clicks forward, and pretty good motion, I guess. I couldn't spit the word out. And then he goes about 2 back, I'd say, or maybe 1 big click back. I think that's what it is, just 1 big click back. But good enough for me, I guess. He rotates at the waist, as I said before. His legs can go forward and back, in and out. Rotates at the upper part of the thigh. He's got some really thick thighs. I feel like on the other Hyperion mold figures, the thighs aren't this thick, but something about his legs seem a little bit beefier. And it's really weird because like it seems like his legs have ratchets in them, which I've never noticed on other figures, but they also seem kind of hard to like move forward and back. So I don't know what's going on with that, but it's a little strange to me. I'm not even sure if I got that on camera, but anyways. He's got the, like I said, the thigh swivel, so then he's got the double jointed knees, which doesn't totally, like, it's effective, but since his legs are so thick, it doesn't get a whole, it doesn't get much more than like a 90-degree angel. The upper part of the boot swivels. He's got an ankle rocker as well as an ankle pivot. So articulation wise, he's pretty on par with what we come to expect anymore with Hasbro Marvel Legends. The paint is pretty spotty. It could be a lot better. It's a little disappointing that it's so shot and just doesn't look too good. Especially for a figure that we haven't had, I don't think ever in the history of Hasbro Marvel Legends. And the last one, probably paint-wise is better, but sculpt-wise it's kind of garbage. But I mean, that's just how it was at the time, and it was acceptable then, but now we have a little bit higher standards for things like that. But honestly, thinking about it, I would almost say that maybe the old one would be a little bit better than this, but I think that just comes down to preference. A lot of the new Marvel Legends seem to be scaling up a little bit, so everyone, all the figures are kind of getting out of proportions. You've got like this guy who's super huge compared to his old Toy Biz one, and like every re-release of a character seems to be upscaled and different. So I don't know what to do about that problem. It's just something we have to kind of deal with. I mean, but that's up to you. If you want this figure, you go for it. He's not hard to get. I wouldn't pay more than like 15 bucks for him, just because he's packed 2 per case, and I'm guessing since the paint's not too well on him, he shouldn't be that hard to get. But if you want the Toy Biz one, just because it seems to have better paint and stuff like that, maybe. I don't actually know since I never owned it, but that's just my thought process. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this kind of gives you an idea of what to expect if you want this figure. I do like him, just think it could have been better, but oh well, it's whatever. At least I didn't pay like 20 bucks or something for him. So anyways, that's my review. Stay tuned for more figure reviews coming up, and watch my previous ones for when I don't upload anything. You can go back in time and watch my old reviews. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later.